I didn't tell Jonah or the others about what I'd seen in the yard. Part of me still thought I was imagining it, my mind playing tricks after too many horror movies and energy drinks. By sunrise, I'd half convinced myself Rick had just been messing with us behind the bleachers and that my backyard visitor was just a deer or raccoon. Except Rick didn't come to the senior beach bonfire the next day, or the after party at Haley's house that night. Nobody had seen him since graduation. By Monday, the group chat was flooded with jokes about how Rick probably ran off to join some hacker cult. I laughed along, but deep down, my gut felt twisted. It got worse when the rumors started. First, Marco swore he saw a figure in a cap and gown standing in his driveway at 2 a.m. Cassie said she kept hearing tapping on her window at night, but when she looked, nobody was there except sometimes she'd catch a glimpse of a graduation tassel swinging in the dark. Jonah called me on speaker one afternoon, whispering so his mom wouldn't hear. "Bro, I think Rick's messing with me too. I keep getting these prank calls, nobody talks, just static. Then I hear my name, real soft. Last night, I swear I heard breathing through my window a sea." We laughed nervously, making dumb jokes about how Rick was probably hiding in the bush with a toy walkie-talkie. But none of us were really laughing. A week after graduation, my parents left town for a wedding, so I had the house to myself. I promised them I'd be fine, that I'd study for my college placement tests and not throw a party. That night, I stayed up late, scrolling my phone in bed, telling myself I was too old to be scared of the dark. Around 2 a.m., my phone buzzed with an unknown number. No caller ID, I almost didn't pick up, but curiosity won. "Hello?" At first, nothing. Just a soft, warbly hum like the line was underwater. I was about to hang up when a voice, so faint I thought I was dreaming, whispered, "Evan, come outside." Click. I sat up so fast my blanket tangled around my ankles. I stumbled to the window, heart slamming my ribs. My backyard looked normal. The porch light cast its usual pale circle. The woods behind the fence were just an empty patch of darkness. But when I squinted at the fence corner, the same spot where I'd seen him before, I caught it, a flicker of white fabric moving between the trees, a cap, a tassel, a face that was somehow too pale in the moonlight. I didn't even realize I was holding my breath until my chest ached. I yanked the curtains shut and backed away from the window. I tried to call Jonah, but he didn't pick up. Nobody did. I ended up sitting on my bedroom floor all night, lights blazing, every creak of the house making my skin crawl. At sunrise, I went outside to prove to myself it was nothing. The grass was wet with dew, birds chirped. The fence was still standing, but when I got closer, I noticed a small scrap of black fabric caught on the chain links. It looked like the hem of a graduation gown. I wanted to tell my parents, or the police, or someone. But how do you explain that a shy kid everyone ignored is suddenly haunting you? They'd think I was on drugs. The next day, I met up with Jonah and Cassie at the diner by the highway. We all looked like death warmed over, bloodshot eyes, jumpy at every little noise. Jonah leaned across the sticky table and hissed, "Guys, Rick's dead, he has to be." Nobody's seen him, his parents aren't answering calls. The cops came to my house last night asking if I knew where he was. Cassie slammed her milkshake down so hard it splattered. "No, he's not dead, or he's something worse. I saw him last night outside my room. He was scratching at my window screen with his nails, just scraping." Over and over. The three of us sat there in silence, the clink of cutlery and the low hum of other people's conversations filling the space we were too afraid to speak into. Finally, Jonah said, "We have to end this. Whatever it is." We came up with the dumbest plan any scared teenagers could come up with. That night, we'd sneak back behind the school bleachers to the exact spot where we'd first seen him. We'd bring flashlights, our phones, and a ridiculous idea that maybe if we confronted him, or whatever was left of him, it would stop. I almost backed out half a dozen times. But when the sun dipped behind the football stands, I found myself there anyway. Jonah and Cassie showed up late, panting, carrying baseball bats they'd stolen from Jonah's garage. I had my dad's old camping flashlight and a steak knife hidden in my hoodie pocket. We didn't talk much, just ducked through the broken gate in the fence and crept along the weeds until we hit the clearing where the fence met the woods. It was dead quiet. No cicadas, no crickets, nothing but our own shaky breaths. Jonah whispered, "Rick, if you're out here, come out, man. Enough with the freak show." Cassie's flashlight beam cut through the trees, landing on a shape about 20 feet away, a figure standing perfectly still. Black gown, crooked graduation cap perched on greasy hair, head tilted slightly
"Rick?"
like a broken
I croaked.
doll. His face turned toward us. His eyes, I'll never forget them, were too wide, too bright in the dark, like animal eyes catching headlights. He grinned. His lips were cracked and split, as if he'd been smiling for days without stopping. Jonah raised the bat. "Bro, say something, or we're calling the cops." Rick didn't move. Then, without warning, he jerked forward. Not walking, just a twitch like something pulling him on strings. Cassie screamed. Rick's mouth opened, wider than it should have. And from deep inside that impossible grin, a voice that wasn't his rasped, "You're not done yet." Then the floodlights over the bleachers snapped on, blinding us. We stumbled backward, covering our eyes. When the lights shut off a second later, Rick was gone. All that remained was a damp scrap of his gown, tangled in the fence. And on it, written in what looked like old dried blood, was my name. EVN.